Apart from the odd exception, bio-based businesses are both research and development driven and production driven. As a result, you need to access sufficient funds to get your business going. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you lack the financial resources, it will be impossible to get your business going. Investors come in all shapes and sizes. To select the right type of funding, you need to know what types are out there and which type of funding best fits your situation. To get you there, we will discuss the most common types of funding, zoom in on a potential interesting phenomenon and hot topic crowdsourcing. Then we will discuss an overview of what types of funding suit the different phases of your startup journey. To finish, we will cover the specifics of bio-based businesses and their influence on funding issues. Funding has much to do with risk and return. What do we get back for providing financial means? There are three categories of financial resources: funds that do not require any financial return, risk capital or equity, and loans. Loans are always backed up by some form of security. Examples of funds that do not require any return are donations or grants, which could be research grants and subsidies. You could say that incubator loans with no interest fit also into this category. Next, there is a large number of different types of risk capital. There is the money that you yourself put into your business. There might be friends and family that are willing to invest also. In textbooks, you sometimes see that friends and family are complemented with fools. This can be a separate category, but depending on how strong your business idea is, friends, family and fools can be overlapping sets. Then there are investors, people or institutions that are willing to step in at an early stage, but want either a high return or control or both. Terms for this type of investor are venture capitalists, business angels, and seeds or venture capital funds. Sometimes before issuing tradable shares, mezzanine debt is acquired. This is an in-between type of funding and can either be structured as a subordinate debt or a preferred stock. When your business is no longer a startup, you can begin funding through issuing shares. This can be done through a private placement or a full-blown IPO, which means going to the stock market. A new kid on the block, although based on good old financial principles, is crowdsourcing or crowdfunding. All three categories are covered by numerous platforms. Donations, loans and equity can be acquired by means of crowdsourcing. A fourth type of crowdsourcing is buyer's credit or prepayment, in which a customer pays up front, in some cases even before a prototype or a product is available. Crowdsourcing can be an interesting choice of funding, as you might be able to acquire the funds you need at better conditions than, for instance, venture capitalists. Another thing to consider is that crowdsourcing might get your name out there if your crowdsourcing campaign gets picked up by social media or the press. Every startup goes through several phases. First, you have the ideation phase, followed by the first real activities, such as prototyping or laboratory-based production. Then, when you truly begin, you start burning money. You need to get production going, and depending on your business case, access to funding is critical. Imagine that you have to build a complete pilot production plant worth 15 billion euros just to prove that mass production is feasible. Even when you begin signing up your first clients, you will probably be bleeding cash. The period between your start and the first time you break even is called the valley of death. Every phase is associated with its own type of funding. First, you begin putting in your own money and that of your loved ones, hopefully accompanied by subsidies and grants. When you actually begin, however, you will need seed money from venture capitalists and business angels. This stage continues until you have safely crossed the valley of death and successfully commercialize your offer. Mezzanine financing, privately placed shares or IPOs normally only become relevant if your business stabilizes and proves sufficiently profitable. Every marketplace has its specifics. This is true for starting up your bio-based business also. Let us begin with the positive aspects of the bio-based economy. Funding your early stage activities should not be a problem. There are many research grants and other grants and subsidies specifically for bio-based startups, which are available to help you through the initial stages of your startup journey. I would even go as far as saying that if you are unable to acquire one of these funding sources, there is a serious problem with either you or your business plan, or both. The second opportunity I would like to emphasize is crowdsourcing. The combination of the prospect of getting a return and the feel-good factor of investing in a more sustainable future can be a powerful ingredient for a successful crowdsourcing campaign. Unfortunately, there's also an elephant in the room: obtaining early stages venture capital. Many bio-based startups struggle to make the switch from grants to risk capital. The main reasons for that are a lack of business skills of the entrepreneurs, difficulties assessing the risk of an investment by venture capitalists because of lack of knowledge, and the fact that the nature of bio-based businesses calls for huge investments. Just think of the money involved when building a production plant compared to launching a new app for Android or iOS. To embark on your startup journey, you need money. Now you know that money comes in many shapes and sizes, all with their own specifics. The information in this course enables you to wisely pursue the right type of funding at the right time. You now know that there is a lot of money out there to get you started. But you have had a warning also concerning the exhausting crossing of the Valley of Death. And you are aware that crowdsourcing might be a part of the plan to get you across. I wish you all the best on your startup journey.